everyone, welcome to 2018 and the latest series of Talking RegMed. Just before we start this episode, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everyone that tuned in to Talk RegMed with me and my guests last year. Over 4,000 of you joined me to talk about cell therapies for spinal cord injury, highlights from ISSCR, and the challenges of processing mesenchymal stem cells. Now, my guest for today is Aidan Maartens, who's the community manager for the Node, organised by the journal Development and the Company of Biologists. Now, as you can see, he's not with me in person, but he's joining me through the wonders of technology via Skype. So, Aidan, thanks so much for joining us.
It's wonderful to be here.
So, for my first question, Aidan, what is the Node?
So the Node, it's a community blog for developmental biologists, and it's hosted by the journal Development, and it's not-for-profit publisher, the Company of Biologists. So that's where I'm calling you from now, from our offices in Histon, just outside Cambridge. But the Node itself came about a few years ago, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, when the journal held a community survey. Basically asked readers and members of the community what we could be doing better for them. And one of the things that came out of that was that a lot of people wanted an online space where they could debate and discuss the latest research, the latest trends in developmental biology, find out about conferences, events, jobs, and stuff like that without having to set up their own sort of blog themselves. And the Node was really born to fulfill that desire to really be a developmental biology hub on the internet.
Fantastic. So obviously we're all about regenerative medicine here at Talking RegMed and RegMedNet. So why should we care about developmental biology?
So I guess when you think about it, you're faced with the same problem in development as you are with regeneration. How do you make a tissue structure part of an organ, part of a heart or a brain or whatever? And the difference, of course, is that during development, this happens in the embryo, and during regeneration, this happens in the adult, when you've already formed the thing. And I guess the crux of the matter is really whether regeneration recapitulates development, goes through the same steps as development does, or whether the cells find their own path there. And as far as I understand it, depending on which system you look at, cells will choose either one of those options to a greater or lesser extent. So I would certainly say that understanding the development of a structure, like I said, whether it's the heart or the brain or the lung, without doubt will inform efforts to promote its regeneration and even to understand its regeneration. So one aspect of this is, of course, with stem cells. Stem cells are going to really influence our attempts to promote regeneration, and to understand stem cells you need to understand development.
Interesting. So Aidan, can you share some highlights that you've had on the Node this year?
Recently we've had quite a few features in our day in the life series, where basically researchers tell us what it's like to work on their particular model organism. There's so many cool and different creatures and plants that developmental biologists use to ask fundamental questions. We've had everything from mayflies to polychaete worms, from coral to sponges. It's always really interesting, and those come up, say, pretty much once a month. I'd also say one of our most popular features recently is collation of recent preprints. So preprints are these publicly available versions of submitted manuscripts that scientists put on preprint servers such as bioRxiv. What I do is I search these archives for cool new developmental biology and related preprints.
Fantastic. So earlier last year, you published a paper on social media and cell biology, developmental biology. Can you tell us how that came about?
Yeah, so it was actually before my time. So I'm the community manager. The community manager before me, Kat Vicente, she was approached by a chap called Andreas Prokop, and he is the communications officer for the British Society for Developmental Biology. And what he was doing was curating an issue in a journal focused on the various types of science communication that are out there. And we were approached as the Node just essentially to explore how we came about, what we've learned from our time running this website, and if there's anything that if someone else or some other society or group of researchers would want to set up their own node, let's say, what they could learn about it. I guess one of the take-home messages of the piece, luckily for me, is that for the node to run, you really need a community manager. But I think what we've at least found is that you need someone not so much at the helm, but basically just to keep things running.
Fantastic. And if you'd like to read Aidan's paper, you can find the link below. So final question, Aidan, can you tell us what we can look forward to on the node this year?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of twisted the answer to this question when I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about in the future what I'd like to see more of. So what I really want to do, and what I am doing really, is trying to continue to expand the types of content we post. So not just about research, and I'd really love to hear a bit more comment, a bit more opinion, maybe some more, let's say, controversial topics discussed on the node.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Aidan. So do you work with any colleagues in developmental biology? What do you think we can learn from them? And would you be interested in learning more about preprints in regenerative medicine? Let me know in the comments or on Twitter, Facebook and LinkedIn. So looking forward to the next episode of Talking RegMed. My guest will be Matthew Durdy, who's the Chief Business Officer at the Cell and Gene Therapy Catapult. We'll be talking about Brexit and how it could affect the UK cell and gene therapy industry and why China might have the answer. So thank you very much for joining me for this episode, and I hope you join me again soon.